Or should I say howdy? Howdy. Are you ready to have some fun? Yeah? Okay. Today's session is called Your Deck Sucks, the pitch that raised $18 million in the current climate. There is a QR code that if you want to ask questions at the end, we'll have some time for some Q&A at the end. Not a lot of time, but some time. I will be doing a presentation, so you'll need to scan it now, because I'm going to change the screen in like 10 seconds. While you guys are doing that, I do have a question. Of the folks in the audience, how many of you guys are founders? Can you raise your hands? Ooh, yay! This is going to be fun. Okay, y'all good? All right, howdy. This session is called Your Deck Sucks. Yeah. How I raised $18 million in the current climate without sending a single deck. But before I get started, who the heck am I? My name is Jacqueline Samira. I'm the founder and CEO of Howdy.com. I have helped my companies raise over $44 million. I've also made them over $150 million in revenue. I've led growth for 3 successful YC teams, and my current company, Howdy.com, was recently valued at over $100 million. And I'm here to say, your deck sucks. How do I know this? Because it probably looks something like this. Whereas the standard fundraising deck, where it has 8 to 12 slides, where you have your title page, your problem page, your solution page, your market opportunity page. I mean, you guys, this looks familiar, right? You have the business model, you get the traction in there, competition, future growth, team, and then of course what you're fundraising, which is literally the same thing companies have been doing for the last 2 decades. The last 2 decades. YouTube did this, Dropbox did this, Uber Cabs did this. We've been raising money the same way since before YouTube. Before YouTube. Is anyone here old enough to remember the internet before YouTube? It was wild. It was wild. But it's 2023, y'all, and we connect with people differently. I knew you were trouble when you walked in. Till you put me down, 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 till you put me down, 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 put me down. I don't know if you guys caught it. That was TikTok, you know. So we've changed the way we connect with each other. We're online, we're talking to people, we're doing videos together, we're doing content with each other. We've changed the way we connect with each other. We said goodbye to the top 8, and yes, this is a MySpace reference. So if y'all don't know that the top 8 was MySpace, then I'm way too old to be up here. But we're now saying hello to fast video first connections. And VCs are not mythical creatures. They're just like us. Well, kind of. They have a lot more money, usually. It's time to update the way we connect with them. But before we do that, let's review what's currently happening in the world of fundraising. Outside, it being a total dumpster fire, of course. Let's review what founders have to do to raise money. Right now, the first thing all founders do is they create a pitch deck. And they spend countless hours crafting the perfect 8 to 12 pages with some variation of this. And then they spend more countless hours building VC email lists, creating email sequences, creating connections on LinkedIn, asking for meetings, asking for referrals, asking for introductions. And then after they do all of that, that's then when we start the fundraising process, where we hopefully book our first meeting with a fund, which is usually with an associate or a principal, and that principal is there to vet us. And usually they say, okay, great, send me your deck. And then of course we send the deck. And then the founder sends countless more emails. And then they have a million spreadsheets for follow-ups. And others use some fancy CRM tool because they think maybe it's gonna give them an edge. And little do they realize, their actions are the same as an entry-level sales development rep. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's literally the same. They're emailing, They're waiting, they're calling, they're connecting, they're following up. They're emailing, they're waiting, they're calling, they're connecting, they're following up. And on it goes. That's me on LinkedIn, that's my background. It's all in sales or growth. And the one thing that is consistent in every industry, no matter what kind of deal you're doing, is you need leverage. And this whole process, where you email, you send the deck, you wait, and you follow up, gives you no leverage. So let's go behind the scenes and see what's really happening in a VC deal flow. Visualize this. Now, you guys don't have to visualize this because most of y'all are founders, but let's visualize this. You're a founder. You did all the work I just mentioned, and you finally nabbed a meeting. And that meeting went awesome. And the associate or principal at the fund says to you, "This is awesome. Please send me the deck so I can pass it along. Bob is going to freaking love this. I'm so excited, to the moon," or whatever lame thing that is said. And you get excited, and you send them the deck, and you think to yourself, that went awesome. They love me. They're gonna give me gobs of money. And you tell your mom and your bestie, you have this one fund interested in investing. But you couldn't be further from the truth. Because unless you had a partner in the meeting saying exactly this, how much are you raising? When are you closing? Do you have a lead? Okay, we want a lead and give you $5 million. No one is currently planning on giving you shit. And I've been in enough of these fundraising calls to know that that is exactly what they're going to say when they're about to give you money. But even when they say that, that's still not a done deal. You've just passed the first hurdle. So let's go back to the story. So you've had your meeting, you followed up promptly, and you sent them the deck. But guess what? Now everything is out of your control. They have everything they need. They have your deck, they have your pitch, your message, your desires, your future in their inbox. You have no leverage. But let's just say the principal you spoke to does like what you're doing and is excited about your company. So he forwards the email to his partner, Bob, and says, "Hey, you gotta check these guys out." And then Bob opens the email on his phone during a committee meeting that he's bored as fuck at and skims through it. And Bob thinks to himself, yeah, that looks interesting. And then Bob goes on his merry way because Bob has a million other things going on. Did your 8 pages move Bob to the point of action? Did that problem solution blow his mind? No, because it was sent in the most tired way possible. A boring, uninspired deck that they've seen a million times since the dawn of venture capital. So let's do an exercise. I want y'all to get out your phones. We're gonna do a lot of QR things here today, okay? Get out your phones and scan this QR code. What I want you to do, it's gonna be a deck. It's gonna be the deck for my company. That you will literally be the only people that have ever seen a deck for my company because I've never sent it. But it's the deck for the company, and I want you to look at it. And then when you're done, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to look at it. When you're done, look back up at the screen so I know we can go on. Okay, I see some eyeballs. All right. Now, I want you guys to watch this 4-minute pitch. Hi, we're Howdy. Howdy helps US tech companies build and manage their dev teams in LATAM. And we're used by a ton of amazing companies, from small bootstrap startups to big guys like Coinbase. We've had incredible success with 246% growth this year versus last.
Our current ARR is 17 million, not to mention we're profitable, have over 45 enterprise customers, and a 25 to 30% run rate EBITDA. We ended 2020 with 1.8 million, last year was 6.7 million, and are forecasted to end this year at 19.3 million. How? Hiring developers is getting increasingly more difficult and will continue to subsist even in an economic downturn and with unprecedented tech layoffs. In fact, last Friday, Wired Magazine published an article titled, "Despite Big Layoffs, Tech Workers Are Still in Demand." And recently, CNBC said, demand for tech talent remains strong, with US employers posting 1.1 million tech job openings. In fact, it is projected that there will be 2.6 million unfilled tech jobs next year alone. So I set out to create a solution. As a reminder, Howdy helps US companies build and manage their dev teams in LATAM. Think of us like Deal, where we're their employer of record, but we do a ton of other stuff as well, like the sourcing, the vetting, the payroll, the buying of local benefits and perks, procuring of equipment and facilities, and our secret sauce and my personal favorite, developer retention, all from an easy-to-use platform. Our customers can build their dream dev team with just a few clicks, get pre-vetted profiles based on their needs within minutes. Howdy also includes a standard premium benefits package local to each developer that reduces employee churn and allows users to add additional benefits to help expand their brand among their team in LATAM. Companies no longer have to compromise culture or perks just because their employees aren't in the US. But none of this works without top talent. And this is how we're different than all of those online marketplaces. We actually build physical presences in LATAM cities because we believe work will remain remote, talent will continue to be distributed, but people will always be social. So this is how we source top talent. We launch in LATAM cities with Future of Work community-centric offices. We embed ourselves in local developer communities, identify and recruit local tech leaders, and continue to build our base of top talent through a crazy network effect we have. So let me explain. For every one developer we hire, 1.2 developers are referred to us. In fact, 26.1% of our employed developers came by an employee referral. And at an insane 98% retention rate, our team sticks around. And this is why we've had such explosive growth, because great engineers know other great engineers, and tech companies only want to hire great engineers, and happy customers refer us to other customers. The proof is in the pudding. Howdy has had this explosive growth solely through word-of-mouth referrals. In fact, we have not spent a single dollar on sales or marketing. And here's the best part. Just by continuing to do the exact same thing we've been doing and nothing else, in 5 short years, we'll be generating $510 million in top-line revenue. And that's just with 4,633 developers, which is only 0.4% of the LATAM market and 0.018% of the global market. That's me. I'm Jacqueline Samira, founder and CEO, and that there is my amazing co-founder, Frank Lisea. This isn't our first rodeo, and we're thrilled to have you a part of the ride. If you or any of your companies need developers, simply visit us at howdy.com.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So here's the crazy thing. While that was only 4 minutes, it gave you a tremendous amount of knowledge. And when I sent the deck that I actually made to make this story, here's what I observed. You guys opened your phone, and the first thing everyone did, like a good chunk of you, was you immediately scrolled to the bottom. You look at it, and you scroll to the bottom, and then you scroll back up. And then you get selective, and you pick the one you want to zoom in on. But what you're doing is you're deciding how you want to interpret my company. And that's what I observed when I was looking out at the audience. I also saw some people, I saw you go to Twitter. I saw a couple other people not necessarily look at my deck, which is fine. It's totally fine. That's normal. But this is crazy. When you watch the video, over 95% of you had your eyes on the screen the entire time. I was actually even getting bored part of it, and I was looking out in the audience, and I noticed like no one was like trailing away. It was really amazing to see. So So ask yourself, of those two versions of the exact same company with the exact same message, with the exact same everything, which one would you be more compelled to talk to? And this is exactly how I raised $18 million recently. You saw exactly what I shared with every investor. They need to hear my pitch, the problem, our solution, our trajectory, my company, my story, said in exactly the way I want my message to be received. Your deck deserves the same. Your deck requires a captive audience. Your deck should not allow them to skim. And when your deck is forwarded 1 million times, each time it should be received in the exact same way, in your voice, with their attention and complete focus. And most importantly, your company deserves to be pitched by you. Not in a two-dimensional PDF that's skimmed through, read in their voice, with their stigmas and their heuristics, while sitting in the background of some meeting that they're half paying attention to. And trust me, plenty of people asked after they saw the video, oh, this is great, but we need just the slides. Will you send that? Or, our fund is old school. Thank you for the video, but can you just send me the deck? I can't present anything without a deck. To which I responded, I totally understand, and I completely respect that, but I don't send decks. It's this or nothing. Or, you can send the link the same way you send a PDF, or it's only a couple minutes. Have them watch it. If they like what they see, I'm happy to get on a phone call and dive deeper. But if they don't even want to watch that, then there's no reason for us to have a conversation. And 100% of the time, they sent my video. And I got rave reviews. In fact, VCs that didn't even get to invest in my company asked me if they can use this video as example training materials for their portcos. And I know you're thinking, this is great and all, but how does it create leverage? It created leverage because people actually heard my message. And the video element was so unique and inspiring that it broke the mental model in such a way that I got a tremendous amount of meetings booked. And of course, that created buzz and excitement. And we all know when there's buzz and excitement, that's when hot deals are made. We had a hot, oversubscribed round in a climate where no one was giving any money to anyone. And we are not a generative AI company. We don't even have AI anywhere in our description. We're also not building robots to perform brain surgery. We help companies hire and manage devs in LATAM. And while I am completely and utterly obsessed with what we do, I'm not naive. I know it's not the sexiest thing to be doing. But guess what? You don't need to be doing the sexiest thing to be the hottest company. You need a great pitch and a great story told in a compelling and inspiring way. You need to separate yourself from all the noise. You need to inspire people to take action. And every single person that sees your pitch should say after they watch it, wow, can I invest? And if you can't make a 2 to 4 minute video that wows everyone you show it to, then you need to throw it away and start over. So if you want to know exactly how I created that pitch video with just the software that comes out of the box on a laptop, at the end I'm going to have a QR link and I'll send you a little how-to guide. It's very, very simple. And once you learn how to do this, and I've helped you raise gobs of money, please don't forget about me. And I'll help you build the best darn dev team at Howdy.com. Thank you. All right, I think Q&A time, right?
Now suddenly VC gets so many videos.
Yeah, I know. Now it's VC. It's only going to be videos. They're like, I can't do this.
Check. Here we go. All right, the first question is, what tools did you use?
Yeah. QuickTime, Google Slides. That's it.
What inspired you to use your model, to do that model?
A lot of things. So as you guys saw with LinkedIn, my whole background is in sales. And one of the things I learned early on in sales is if someone says, great, give me all the materials, I want to go home and review it, as a salesperson, you've lost the sale. Giving them things for them to go home and review it means, okay, I'm now giving up control, I'm now giving up leverage for them to go home. And so it was very similar in that same way. Like I knew early on, when we did our seed funding, I didn't actually create a video. I didn't give a deck though either. And part of the reason is because it forces them to get your message out of you. And I wanted to be able to say, no, if you want to talk to me, if you want to talk about our company, I'm the best person to talk to about it. Not this like two-dimensional representation. And from there, it's kind of evolved into this idea of, well, I can't have 90 conversations all the time. What if I just did the same pitch over and over and over in a way that isn't a video?
All right. How about why 4 minutes? Should it be shorter?
So the first video, that's a great question. So the question is why 4 minutes? Should it be shorter? Actually the first video I did was 2 minutes and 35 seconds. I think 2.5 minutes is actually the sweet spot. But what I realized when I sent the 2.5-minute video is I had a lot of follow-up questions that were asking the same thing. And so I added to the presentation and iterated on it based on those questions. And that's what made it 4 minutes. But it really should be, even that, it's only 4 minutes, but when you watched it, it probably felt like a really long time. So if you can keep it at 2 minutes, that's more ideal, for sure.
Did you ever doubt your approach?
No. The reason being is I like to work with people that don't necessarily just want to follow a checklist or just make it so like we have to do things because that's what the model is or that's what like everybody else does. And so a part of me, it was like just naturally filtering out folks that I didn't think would be great partners for us anyways.
Okay, here's a good one.
Thanks.
If Elon Musk, Bill Gates, or Jeff Bezos asks for your deck, would you turn them down?
Yeah, of course. I'd send them my video. And also too, like if they ask for my deck, then they clearly are interested in something. So then I could leverage that for a meeting. And that's a way better connection with any of those guys.
All right. Is there proof that a mediocre product with a video pitch was more successful than a unicorn product with a slide deck pitch?
Is there proof?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm sure hoping that we're about to be a unicorn. No, I don't know. So we went through Y Combinator in winter 21. And one of the things that they always say to you is like, have your pitch, have your vertebrae, have it in the background, but the best conversations are that. They're conversations where you're engaging and you have it there as supplemental material, but it shouldn't be there to guide you. And so in a lot of ways, it felt kind of like a progression of that, where it's supplemental, but it's not necessarily, you can get on the phone and actually have a conversation with people rather than having some like background slide deck, which ends up creating a lot of friction in conversation, which is not the best when you are raising money. You want to be able to make it seem like it is just this like very fluid, comfortable, engaging conversation.
Okay, somebody asked, what VCs don't want videos so I can avoid them?
So here's the thing. When you're raising money and you're meeting with people, you're generally not talking to the partner. You're generally talking to somebody that is vetting you, which is the associate or the principal. And they're usually going off of what they have to do to position you to their partner. And a lot of partners will say, oh, no, this is what you need to give it to me in a perfect package that I want to receive it in. And if you can't give it to me in this perfect package that I want to receive it in, then I'm not going to look at what you're doing. And so I think it's actually more indicative of the relationship that the principal has with the partner than anything else. So I don't think it's necessarily them not wanting the video. It's more, does this person who works for the partner have the ability to go to them and say, no, I know it's weird, I know it's not normal, but just watch this video. And so the folks that did turn us down at first were not the actual funds that were turning us down, it was the associates of the funds that weren't, I wasn't checking their boxes, you know?
Did any of those associates come back and say, no, we want to invest?
Yeah, they did. They all came back. It was like dating. It was wild. Like the moment you reject them, then all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, but who are you? That's what it felt like, at least. Yeah. One more?
No, we're good.
Was that everything? Okay. That was everything. Thank you, guys.